In today's video, I'm going to be predicting every single game in the 2023 AFL season. Now, if you enjoy footy and you're yet to subscribe to the channel, now is a great time to do so. Click the button down below because as we edge closer to the footy season, footy content just like this will be pumping out at a much more consistent, frequent rate. Alright, let's start off with round one. This won't be an early indicator of what I'll tip, by the way. This could change, it might change for the sake of the video. Richmond v Carlton, very, very difficult one to tip, but I think the Blues can get on top in this first game. They did it last year. What's to say they can't do it again? Another close game to tip, but if we're going to go favouritism and what's more likely to happen, I think the Cats by 15 will be a good challenge. Another game that could go either way, North v the Eagles, but because it's at Marvel, I think North should win it in an average game of footy, to be fair. Port Adelaide v Brisbane. I was initially going to go the power or lean on the power, but I don't think they're going to be that good this year anymore. I think the Lions will be too strong. Win it by 24. And same with the Ds. They look really, really deadly and scary this season. I think they'll win this one comfortably against the Dogs. I think the Dogs will be exposed in all areas. Gold Coast v Sydney. I think the Suns, they can get the upset here. I'm going to be rating them here. I'll be tipping them a lot in the games. They always beat the Swans in these sort of weird games. The Giants and the Crows. Upsets are brewing here. The Giants get their first win in round one. No one was expecting that because I have been bullish on the Crows lately, but they'll lose the first game in a shock affair. And do I go? No, I think we'll have to go the Bombers, but both of these sides are going to be pretty rubbish. And for this game, I've been saying it for the last few weeks. The Saints will get the win round one. I reckon we get the job done against the Dockers. Call me biased, but I think that'll happen. So round two now, we've got Carlton and Geelong, and I could see this going any way. I think the Blues can carry their momentum and win this game. They go 2-0. Really, really massive start for them. The Lions v the Ds, I think the Lions are going to lose. I'm going to go the Ds to win it by 9. Collingwood v Port. Yeah, I think Collingwood will get the job done. Port won't be anything special. Adelaide v Richmond. Richmond win it. Close game of footy. The Dogs always seem to smash the Saints, so we're actually going to go a 41-point win. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen. And another 41-point win against the Dockers and the Roos. Sydney v Hawthorn. I think the Swans bounce back with a comfortable 37-point win. And Essendon v Gold Coast. I think the Gold Coast Suns, they're going to start the season off 2-0. And the Gold Coast Crips will be absolutely electric. West Coast take on the Giants at Optus Stadium. I think the Eagles at home will go the 16-point win. Look at that. Put Adelaide and Hawthorn start 0-2. This is round 3. The Doggies and the Lions. I think the Lions will get the job done by 16 points. Jesus, big game of footy. Collingwood and Richmond. And we'll go the Pies to get the win. Richmond start 1-2, even though I had them second in my ladder predictions. Hawthorn North. I think Hawthorn can win this one. Blues will be too strong in all areas in that one. And the Saints, they got to beat the Bombers. We never play well historically. We did in the preseason game, got the win. At the MCG, 150th year, 17-point win. Poor take on the Crows at the Adelaide Oval. And, Jesus, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Crows start 0-3. The Cats will win against the Suns, ruining their 2-0 start. And Melbourne at home will beat the Swans. And then in the Derby, I think the Dockers smash them by 52 points, the Eagles, as we get into round 4. Brisbane take on the Pies, and I think the Lions win it by 22 points. At Docklands, the Blues get it done to start 4-0. Adelaide v Freo. I'm going to go Adelaide, actually. They need to get their first win. And at the MCG, Richmond will get the job done by 22 points. The Saints always play well against the Suns here. Just because I go for the Saints and all is garbage, I think the Saints in another decent game against the Suns by 13. We go 4th, and the Swans play the Power, and the Swans, in a really good game of footy, win it by 5. Essendon take on the Giants, and they'll get a 31-point win, and West Coast put up a really strong effort against the Ds, but go down. And then the Hawks and the Cats in another Easter Monday Classic win it by 10 points. We round out round 4. As we head into round 5, Adelaide v Carlton, and the Blues record their first loss of the season. The Crows get 2 on the board here. Freo v Gold Coast. I think the Dockers win that one. And then Richmond v Sydney. Richmond historically play pretty well against the Swans, so they'll win it by 13. At the Hills, North will have no match for the Lions. They'll win that one by 50. So this is gather round for those that didn't already know. The Bombers, I guess, could win this, but the Ds will just be too strong and really difficult to beat at this point in the season. So they always start off well. They'll win it by 23. And then I'm going to put Adelaide to beat the Dogs. And the Dogs, geez, I actually start 1-4. I did call it earlier that they were going to have a poor start to the season. The Cats and the Eagles. The Cats by 38. The Giants and the Hawks. The Hawks by 14, and then Collingwood can't really tip against the Pies when they're playing against the Saints. So this is at the end of round 5. We head to round 6, and the Dockers play the Dogs, and the Dogs record an upset. I'm going to give them a win here. I think they can play up against the best sides in the competition. The Power should win against the Eagles comfortably. The Giants should lose against the Lions by 25. Kardinia Park, got to go a 6-point win against the Swans there. Oh, the Swans start 2-4. Hawthorn take the Crows. The Crows win by 22. The Blues win by 26. And then at Metricon, we're going to go Gold Coast 36-point win. Richmond knock off the Ds. I don't think any side will start off the season 6-0 this year. For Anzac round, we've got Collingwood and the Bombers. Could go either way, but I think, you know, Collingwood are a better side. They win it by 18 points. Round 7, St Kilda and Port Adelaide. And the Saints... My heart is going St Kilda. My head's going Port Adelaide. Friday night, we never lived up to the occasion, but neither do the Power. Saints by 19. Brisbane and Freo is really going to be tough here for the Dockers. I think the Lions are going to be a powerhouse at the Gabba. 23-point win. The Swans win this one by 57. And the Dogs, they get it done also by a big margin by 47. Melbourne take on the Roos, and it won't be a very big win. They'll just grind the game out, and a competitive North outfit will get done by 21. At Optus Stadium, we'll go the Blues by 42. And upsets. Bombers get a win against the Cats by 10. And Richmond at Docklands, I think they'll get the win against the Suns. Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval, win it because I think they'll be alright. They head into the top 8 after starting 0-3. And then we head to round 7 at Docklands, the Blues. And they'll start 7-1. Richmond will win against the Eagles. The Cats will beat the Adelaide Crows, give them a bit of a reality check. The Suns at Metricon, could they knock off the Ds? Yes, they can. We're going the upset. The Giants won't win against the Dogs. The Dockers will win against the Hawks. The Power will beat the Bombers. Draw. We're going Collingwood, Sydney draw. First draw of the season. St Kilda win by 30. Richmond and Geelong, take your pick. We'll go the Tigers. West Coast take on Gold Coast. I think the Suns, they're a better side. They're winning by 18. Sydney v Freo, I'm going to go the Swans by 21. And Northy Port Adelaide, I think Corn Francis will be taught a new one here, and they'll actually lose this one, the Power, by 7. Hawks play the Ds. Ds win it by 13. And the Lions beat the Bombers. I think the Blues will be a better side this year. They'll win it by 16. And then the Crows and the Saints, the Crows will win. I don't think we'll be that good this year, to be honest. Pies beat the Giants as we end round 9. So the end of the ladder, bloody Carlton start 8-1. We got Hawthorn, North Melbourne, Giants and West Coast only starting with a 1 win after round 9. Those are the teams that are really struggling. Now, speaking of struggling, if you've been going to the gym and feeling like you haven't really been getting much out of it, or if you're like myself and quite skinny and want to build some muscle to up your confidence, well, I've partnered up with Juicy's Athlete Academy, and I tell you what, it's all you need to help begin your fitness journey. Qualified exercise scientist and strength and conditioning coach for footballers. So if you want to get bigger or put on muscle ahead of the footy season, then this is exactly what you need. There are heaps of programs on the website that you guys can check out, and the link will be in the description. You click that, and if anything interests you, you can use code CARDY22 for 22% off at checkout. Not only will that help out the channel, it'll also help out Druzy and help out yourself ahead of the footy season. Alrighty, let's get right back into things here. Starting off with round 10 and Port Adelaide take on the Ds. The Power need a statement game to just keep their season alive, and I think this is their Power statement game. The Ds just don't show up, and the Power win it by 34 to really give the competition a bit of a shock. North take on the Swans at Docklands, and I'm going to go another upset there to give North Melbourne a shake-up this season. The Dogs and the Crows will go the Dogs. The Dockers and the Cats. Well, we probably do need to go the Dockers, but we're going to go the Cats here because the Dockers, they never really play that well against the Cats, and geez, that start is actually quite concerning. Brisbane take on the Suns, and I think the Lions 26-point winners. Richmond win that one by 26. Because it's in Tassie, we'll go the Hawks, and then the Carlton v Collingwood at the MCG. The Pies, because Carlton, they're not starting 9-1. The Giants take on the Saints, and the Saints need to get the win. They move into the 8. Sydney take on Carlton, and they'll go 2 losses on the trot. The Swans back into the 8. The Saints win it by 27. The Ds, well, they're going to win again. The Dockers start 4-7. I actually feel really bad for them because they're not going to start that badly. What have I done? The Suns, they play well in the NC. The Eagles will win that one. Get off the bottom of the ladder. Richmond and the Richmond win by 35. They move to first. Collingwood in a close win. Brisbane by 9. And Melbourne by 16. Port Adelaide take on the Hawks, and the Power need to get this win by 22. The Pies beat the Eagles. The Cats beat the Dogs. And the Suns and the Crows, I think the Suns are the slightly better side, so they'll win this one by 14. Let's give ourselves another update of the ladder. So top 8, we've got Geelong, Richmond, Brisbane, Melbourne, Gold Coast, Collingwood, Carlton, Sydney. Then we got the Dockers, the Dogs, the Saints, the Power, the Crows, the Bombers, the Hawks, North, Giants, and the Eagles only with the 2 wins, finishing on the bottom of the ladder. I'm not giving the Eagles a win there. I'm going to go the Blues by 29. I'm going to go the Dogs to win it by 23. And because I think the Giants can actually do okay in a few games. They knocked off the Suns in the preseason games. I'll knock them off again in these games here. D's by 22. The Tigers will win it by 14. I'm not going to tip against us here. We'll win it by 23. Give ourselves a chance. At the Adelaide Oval, I think the Power can get the job done by 11. The Dockers will win. I think they'll be slightly better than the Swans this season. And just going to go blind, and we'll go the Blues. There you go, blindly predicting there. Essendon v Sydney. Essendon always knock off Sydney whenever they play down in Melbourne. Over the last few years, it's always happened. They'll do it again in a bit of a shock. The Cats win by 25. The Suns will record an upset. If they're going to be doing this well, I think they're going to be capable of possibly causing upset wins like that. As we'll go the Saints again, even though the Hawks could certainly well and truly win. Richmond and the D's will go the D's by 20. The Dogs at Eureka. The Crows in a bit of an upset. Jesus, the Power not doing well at all. West Coast record their 3rd win. West Coast record their 4th win. Geelong beat the Power. They're not going to win the Power in those sort of games. The Giants will not beat the Swans. The Pies get a win there. The D's, the Blues. We'll go through this quickly. The Doggies in an upset. Jesus, I tell you what, the Doggies are actually doing better than what I predicted in my predictions. Adelaide in an upset. Freo and Brisbane in another upset here. We're going the home teams. It could go either way. I'm actually going to go the Blues by a good 9 points. The Lions again, they'll move to 2nd. Oh, it's tough. I'm going to go the Cats. Hawthorn and the Dogs. Hawthorn in an upset. I think North can win this. They'll have a few, good wins here and there. The Roos, Tigers, I think will win that one. So they move to 2nd. Jesus. Sydney and the Gold Coast will go the Swans. Port Adelaide need to get wins here. Freo win that one. Collingwood upset at Docklands. Gold Coast beat the Blues, I reckon. Giants, give them another win. 4 and 18. Melbourne and Hawthorn will go the D's. Richmond and North Melbourne. We're heading into round 23 here, by the way. We'll go the Tigers again. St Kilda and Geelong. Just can't see it happening. With the form the Cats are in this end of the season, I don't think we'll win that one. The Dogs get another win. Move into the 8 here. This is going to get interesting. Really interesting. Adelaide, Sydney, Swans by 23, move into the 8. And as much as I don't want to do this, I don't know with the Power. They're fucking 12th. With 1 round to go, we look at the ladder. The Cats, the Tigers, the D's, the Lions, the Blues, the Dockers, the Dogs and the Suns. Those 2 sides weren't in my top 8 in my season predictions. Look at St Kilda's percentage. It's probably going to be the same old story for the Saints. We'll win like 10 to 12 games, but just not even have any chance of finals. The Lions end our season there as we finish at the moment 11th. Carlton finish with a 26-point win. Don't record a top 4 finish at the moment. Collingwood v Essendon. Now, if we're going to go with expected results, which we will, the Pies win that one. They move into the 8. All right, this one, the Cats and the Dogs. It's at Cardinia Park. We're not going to give the Dogs any upset wins here because I don't think they'll be that great this season. I'm going to go a 32-point win. The Dogs get knocked out of the 8 now. Hawthorn and Freo. Freo by 22. They're locked in the 8. The Dockers are locked in the 8 after a poor slump. Yeah, so the Suns need to win this game to secure finals, and I reckon they will do that by 23. So the Suns are 7th. Sydney and Melbourne. At the SCG, let's go the Swans. Port Adelaide v Richmond. Oh my goodness. Can you believe that? The Pies. The 2 sides that drew against each other this season are going to be 8th and 9th, but the Swans with a better percentage will knock out the bloody Pies. This game's a bit irrelevant, but let's go the Power in a good finish to the season. And Adelaide to finish the season there. Jeez, wow. That ladder turned on its head. Certainly not one that I was expecting, so we'll go through it quickly. The Cats finish 1st. I don't think they'll go back-to-back minor premiers. The Tigers, I predict them to finish 2nd, and they're 2nd in this again. The Lions in 3rd. The Blues make the top 4. The D's get knocked out. That's sort of surprising. Freo finish 6th. I can see that happening. The Suns weren't in my 8s in the season predictions. They are here with 14 wins, 9 losses. Sydney in the 8s. They weren't in the latter predictions. Collingwood, very stiff to miss out there. I have a few Collingwood fans letting me know about that in the comments, I feel. The Dogs as well, stiff to miss out, but 13 and 10 wins isn't so bad. The Power, a disappointing season. Hinkley will be sacked there, I reckon. The Crows, all right. The Saints, even with 11 wins, we finished 13th, and then we have a massive drop-off in sides. The bloody Bombers, the Hawks, North, GWS, and West Coast as my wooden spooners. So Hawthorn actually don't finish last. They finished 15th. To be honest with you, I wasn't even paying much attention to the ladder in itself. I was just going through the results off the top of my head. I'll announce my tipping competition in the next coming days. And yeah, cheers for watching, guys. We'll see you soon in the next one.